my career literally started on Broadway. At 23, I was on Broadway. So I thought, we are only going up from here. There is no coming back. Then I went to school and so the past 2 years, it's been feeling like my dream has been getting smaller and smaller. And people might argue and say, what do you mean? You are in Boya. You are in what? You are in what? And whereas all of these things are so great, I felt like I should have been more.
Okay, is there a point because of the finances or the lack thereof? You're like, this dream, by the way, it's not it.
Oh my God. Last year.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I have never gotten to a point where I'm questioning if I should be doing what I'm doing.
At your peak, what would you say? What were you averaging per month?
Oh my God.
Do you think?
I think it was like...
Who are you? How would you answer that question?
Where? Hey, honestly, I'm still trying to figure out. Anyway, to answer your question, I think...
Hey guys, welcome to Financially Incorrect. It is a Friday, so of course you know that we have another story for you. This is not only relevant, but probably one of the most exciting stories we've told this year. I'm really looking forward to this. It's in the creative space, but it is not an influencer. Or rather not a traditional influencer, as many people have criticized us for. With me today is none other than Nyokabi Macharia. I said that correctly, right?
Yes,
the
you did.
Pronunciation. Who is going to talk to us about her financial story, but also, more importantly, she's going to talk to us about her new show, Index One, which is on July the 25th.
Yes.
And there are 3 show days, and it's at Braeburn, if I am not wrong, Gitanga Road.
Yes.
And I cannot wait to hear more about your financial story and more about this show. Welcome to Financially Incorrect.
Thank you so much for having me as well.
Did I give you like the correct titles? How do you usually like to be introduced?
Wow. I don't know. Performing artist, human being, just that, to be honest.
If you were to, let me ask you this question, because I guess you're creative and, probably more in touch with yourself. Like, who are you? How would you answer that question?
Where? Hey, honestly, I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Something like Franklin said that we refer to human beings as human. It's human. If you ask me and I tell you I'm an actor, that's what I do. That's human doing. It's not a human being.
Yeah.
Anyway, to answer your question, I think I am someone who loves adventure. I love new experiences. And at the core of my existence, I genuinely do love art, in whatever form it is. I am fascinated by creatives and just coming up with something from scratch. And this extends to even tech and AI and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Who's the greatest person you've ever met?
Wow.
And take your time. Yeah. The greatest person you've ever met. Doesn't have to be a celebrity. Doesn't have to be whatever metric of measurement you're using to measure the greatness. You can tell us what that is, but like, who's the greatest person you've ever met?
I think my sister. I think she has another level of grace that I have not encountered. And humanity that is... it's very admirable. I see how she, like, for instance, she'll be on the street and someone will come with a book. She's not an avid reader at all. And then she's always like, you have to support their businesses. You can't just let... So she'll buy the book just because someone has come with it and she feels the need to promote their business, and she'd rather go and give that book to someone else. And I get to be a beneficiary of her grace throughout my life. And I think
so. Has she bought like 10 tickets for your shows?
Yo,
and like giving them away.
Let me tell you, first of all, no. First of all, she doesn't even enjoy, she never used to enjoy theater, but she used to she has never missed any of my shows in my entire life, well, apart from the ones that I was not around. But she has come for all my shows, including the ones that I was in Athi River, in Daystar. And for someone who doesn't enjoy theater,
to come all that way.
And come severally every now and then. When I was doing Drama Fest in class 6, she came with my dad all the way to Nyeri. And she's the type who's like, mi sikuelewa kusema ukweli kile mlifanya, but anyway, umefanya kazi poa. And she's my best. If I want to know if my work is good, I'll go to my sister. I'll be like, what do you think about this? And she's so honest about it. Sometimes it hurts. I'm like, you have to lie to a creative a little bit. But I'd say her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Tell me about your show, Index One.
Wow. Okay. So the whole basis of Index One is based on the poem by Langston Hughes called Dreams Deferred.
I wish I was cultured enough to know what you're talking about.
It's okay. Even me, I encountered it somewhere in uni, but... So a dream deferred, and basically it questions and says, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or does it fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? To give you context, this poem was written, Langston was 14 years old when he wrote this poem.
Wow.
And first of all, you think, as a 14-year-old, what dream are you defiring, right? But for me, my career literally started on Broadway. At 23, I was on Broadway. So me, I thought, we are only going up from here. There is no coming back. And so at 30, I thought I was just, me and Lupita, we're just there gonna be telling you,
Same was up.
Your dreams are valid. Me and her there, you know? There's a difference when you say your dreams are valid there and when you say it from here.
The God of Lupita and Larry Mado.
Thank you. I thought I was going, that is my God. And then I went to school and so the past 2 years, it's been feeling like my dream has been getting smaller and smaller. And people might argue and say, what do you mean? You are in Boya. You are in what? You are in what? And whereas all of these things are so great, I felt like I should have been more, or it should have been more by this age. And so I think this whole experience, and also I'm turning 10 years in the industry, it's a culmination of what my journey has been for the past 10 years. Even politically, I think we have lived through such interesting times. When I went to do my master's, COVID struck, you know, and so anytime that I thought I was about to do something big, I was pulled back. Anytime, and I know from the outside it feels like I am doing something, but in my head I had so much bigger dreams. And so the whole show essentially is just about what happens to this, what am I supposed to do with this dream? Maybe it's redefining it, and now is when I'm realizing maybe it's all about redefining it, because some dreams you collect along the way are not really yours. Some dreams are your parents, some dreams are from your society, and so I'm at that stage where I'm sort of trying to reconnect with what is my dream, really.
Okay.
And also challenging people to go back to theirs. So there's this thing we've been telling people, you know, you are not index 1, right? But what are you index 1 in today? You know, for instance, for you, I guess it's podcasting and financing.
First of all, I was index 19 in
Holy what you index 19.
I think it was 19 in what do you call it? KCP.
What about KCSE? Can you remember?
I didn't do KCSE. I did
I see the other system.
I don't think we didn't have gradings.
Yeah.
I was either 16 or 19. 16 or 19. But I was at the halfway mark.
Yeah.
I know I was at the halfway
you were in
mark.
room 1. Were you in room 1?
Yeah. I don't know what was it. I was at the end. I was at the end of room 1, so to speak. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting you talk about that. I'm an avid sports consumer.
Okay.
And there's this documentary on Netflix by Nicolas Anelka. He's a French football player and incredible star. At the beginning of his career, though, he joins the French soccer team, football team, just before they win the World Cup. So he won the World Cup. I think he won like the World Cup, the Champions League or something, like within the first 2-3 years of his career.
Damn.
And he was in that space where you're in, where he was like, I guess with the equivalent of you being on Broadway at 23,
Right.
where he was like, he thought that's what it was going to be. Like he was just going to win. And then he goes like this whole stint without winning. And he talks about, I guess, the negative effect of winning so young
Early.
and how difficult it was anyway. So that's just like an interesting thing that came to my head when you talked about that.
Yes.
But the question I do want to ask you is, what, as an audience member, for someone who's coming in, and I want to give you the latitude to express this in the deepest artistic ways that you can.
Okay.
What should I expect? What should I expect to connect with at the show? What should I expect to feel? What should I live with, reflecting on, or hoping to feel?
I would say, so for instance, we had a preview show, I think just like 3 weeks ago. And we're challenging people to write a letter to your younger self, number one, but also a letter to your future self. We're challenging people to go back to those shelved dreams, because we all have that thing that, you know, you felt like you should have done. And we're asking people, what's stopping you? So I think expect to connect with another version of yourself. if it's your future or your younger self, I don't know. And I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler just because it's one of my favorite things in the show and I keep talking about it. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. We're going to have like a telephone booth at the lobby. And it's going to be, you making a call to your future self. And everyone is going to have a chance, if you would like, obviously, to do that. And tell them something. And then at the end of the show, we're going to play it for everyone. Like just dreams of people out in the air. And basically, we're just telling you, you got to put out those dreams. Like, don't let it die. Don't let it die at all.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like very immersive and thought-provoking. I mean, I think when we did our show, I don't know how many months, it's going to 2-3 months when the time the episode airs.
Yeah.
Like we were thinking about that kind of thing, about how do you like really immerse people into the space? How do you get them to genuinely experience everything that they possibly can with all the different senses that they can.
Exactly.
Around love and money. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And okay. Well, I think it sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
you.
I think that's a show for everybody because everybody has dreams.
Yes.
And that
expect
need to
to
be
laugh.
reignited. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of
expect to
laughter.
laugh, but also cry.
Okay.
There's because there's love stories about, the character developments that we've gone through in life.
Yeah.
But also there's like sad moments that we've gone through. So there's a plethora of emotions.
And you're the subject matter of this show, basically.
Predominantly. So I've been journaling for the past maybe 8 years. And so a lot of the material has been dug out from my journals, but also from conversations that I've had with people and that kind of thing. So the writing process has been a lot. Yeah.
Now, I was just getting into your story. How difficult is it to journal? Because that's something I would love to be able to tell people that I do.
Yeah.
I probably lie and tell people that I do. But I've probably journaled 5 times in the last 3 years. Yeah. Like if I put together all the pages, maybe they're like 7 pages.
Yeah.
But it sounds like such a rich thing to be able to do.
It really is. And I struggled with it in the beginning. I think one of my friends in uni is the one who introduced me to it. And again, it sounds nice and but like the actual work of it is just like, God damn, how many times do I have to go and write the feelings? But then when I understood, it's really about what you're feeling. Because I think sometimes when you're journaling, you want to say something important. And sometimes it's just, today I'm feeling sad. End of the journal, thanks. It's about writing something every day. Literally, whether you don't, even if it's you saying, today I don't want to write. Today I don't feel like writing. It's about creating a discipline of, first of all, writing in the beginning. But then with time, it gets to a point where that is my way of releasing.
Yeah.
I will wake up at 2 a.m. because something is so heavy in my heart and I literally just have to be like, and then it's just like, and I think the most beautiful thing about journals is when you go back to it and then it literally has foreshadowed what you're going through. And sometimes the most weird thing is when I go back to a letter. So the show, again, is based on a letter that I wrote to my mom when I was in high school, and then a letter that I wrote to myself when I was 24 years old, but to my 30-year-old self, and then a letter that I've written to my 40-year-old self. And one day now when I was going through the material for the show, I see this letter that I wrote to my 30-year-old self, and it literally describes what I was going through on that particular day. And it's so trippy. It's like, guy, what is happening? But also words are so powerful. If you speak into your journal and I believe in writing dreams, I do vision boards. I'm one of those people and stuff. And so with time, it gets easier and you're the one who even feels the urge
to get it done.
to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You just have to familiar the first like 5 months CV.
Yeah.
Then
and
you
then
get
it
it.
gets better.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. We'll try. I'll tell you 5 months from now where I am. Okay. Your relationship with money. Where does relationship with money begin?
Wow. So I think my earliest lesson about money, my mom told me, so long as you umelipa rent and you have food and you can move around, that's what you need to be thinking about. So ever since I got my first salary, I thought I just need to pay rent, I need to move around, and I need to stock food.
That's it.
But then now, growing up, you realize there's Wi-Fi. But then also, there's this other thing. And then you have to add and so it got to a point where I was paying this. I would be the person who merely rent 5 months ahead, in fact. But now I would get stuck because I am in a house, yes, but I can't do other
anything.
things. And so later on is when I realized, so I have to budget for other things as well. I can't just say I have paid my rent for 5 months. I need to think about the Wi-Fi and the water and the trash bill and the what, those kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And did you guys have, would you say you had a lot of money, fair money, little money when you're growing up?
I feel like we didn't have a lot of money. It's a very average household. My mom was a teacher. My dad was, dealing in cars at the time. But my mom never made us, or at least I never felt like we were poor. I never felt like we lacked. And then she was very positive on, she used to say something called SAPS, Structural Adjustments Program. And so when you were broke, she'd be like, SAPS, what are we doing? SAPS, yeah? So we are not going to, so she even made lack of money not feel like, oh my God, we don't have.
Yeah.
And so I think she really empowered us in terms of money did not even become a big deal. Even as an adult, I didn't think, oh my God, if I lack money, I will be whatever. Yeah.
When did you start making money for yourself? When's the first time you make money for yourself?
Just before I finished Daystar, I got a job as an operations manager at an event house or events company, sorry. And I'm earning 24,000 shillings.
Before that moment, you've not made money for yourself?
Me, I've not made money. Let me tell you,
You've been on pocket money.
I've been on pocket money. I've never been the chick who's like, I should probably get extra. And I think as much as my mom empowered us not to think about money, I think now on the other side, I was like, what's the problem? We can live without it. And so literally the first time I made money for myself was after, just before
job.
I finished Daystar. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what did you do with your money? Because you weren't paying rent at that time.
No. So at that time, I'm first of all, I have to treat myself.
Of course.
I've been working hard. This is my first salary. If I call my friend, I'm like, do you want a pizza? Let me take you for pizza. I got money, okay? And then I think the rest of it, I'm just like, I need to save up. So I've also been like, I'm a saver. And at least the way my mom has raised us, it's like, you need to save up your money. So I save some, but then I'm like, I should probably buy myself a ring here or there. And then at the time, it was Signature lipstick. I don't know if you guys know Signature lipstick.
I do not. And
Let me
I'm
tell
glad
you.
I do not.
At the time, because I'm in Daystar, unaona tu dem na red. Yeah? And then it used to have these maninis over here, but then you used to get them in Dubois. And then everyone has a Signature lipstick, and that's the epitome of before Max and stuff like that. Yeah.
So that's where your money went, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just eating lunch, new experiences. And then before I know it, I'm like, I don't have money for the next thing. It's okay. See, we are earning the next time.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
I mean, so you've talked about, at least from what I've sort of researched and tried to understand, you talk about this period in your work life in the creative industry where you essentially work for free.
Yes.
Where you don't get paid.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that period and how surviving without money for that period was like. How long was it? What are the jobs that you were doing? What are the things you're doing? Yeah.
Okay, so before I finish, so this events company, whatever, I do it for 3 months only. And then immediately after I go to the UK. But I go to the UK, again, without a job, without any money, that kind of thing. So when I come back, I'm like, I want to pursue this arts thing, blah, blah. And I'd already started when we were in Daystar. And my mom is telling me, so you get a job. I'm like, passion. Aitakangi unaidistract na vitu zingine. Hii passion lazima una focus na passion for you to get the results. You must invest in the time because now when you start getting other jobs, you are distracted. And so she would support me. And then I used to live with my sister as well. So my sister is paying half of the rent and my mom is paying half of the rent. And my mom is like, girl, can you get a job? I'm telling her, Aki, mom, just one more. And then I used to wake up, I do my exercises because now I've gone to the UK. I've seen that you need to be good in dance, acting, and singing all at the same time. It's not about, this one is that, like, that's the bare minimum you can do. So in this time, I am trying to polish up on my skills. And so I'm doing productions, yes, but they are not paying me. But I'm like, ma usijali. We tutapata like more and stuff like that. And literally for 3 years, my mom was just supporting me. And I'm working, by the way. I'm busy.
3 years.
For 3 years. And I'm busy, guys. I am busy.
What are the
as
productions
hell.
you're working on at this time?
Hey, I don't know if I mentioned them, but anyway, there's an amateur dramatic society. There's like the ones where they're like, we want young people to do what and all of these things. And I'm thinking this is an opportunity for me to grow my skill, for me to grow and get to know people in the industry. So at the time, I'm not so interested in money. And again, my mom sort of really taught us to survive on the bare minimum. So I could make it work.
Those
I'm
subs
like,
were-
hey, those subs, they worked. So I was just like, let's just focus on the dream, we'll get ahead. And I remember the very first production that we auditioned for with my bestie, who's in Wana Vocali, by the way, was Dream Girls. And at the time, we were in Athi River. And rehearsals are at, so now we're here in CBD. And at the time, we don't have a tarmac road. So you have to get a bike, then get a mat, then get another mat or a bike to here and whatever. On average, it costs us around maybe 1,000 or 1,200 per day.
That's traveling.
Yes, that's traveling.
Yeah.
We have not eaten. And then you're being given a per diem of 200, Bob. And I'm still telling my mom, don't worry, this thing. And then I think at the time we were offered like 25,000 shillings. So technically that 25,000 Bobiote is just transport. But at the time, it's the who's in the industry. I'm like, we gotta push this thing. And I remember now the time we were like, this is too much. Tumenyeshewa. Na unajua Athi River kukinyesha kuna. When it rains, it pours. And we still have to get a bike or a taxi, because sometimes you can't get a taxi and whatever. And so that even fell through. Then my mom is like, so all that money that we have spent, and you still have not gone through with the production. But I must give her props. She was very gracious, because my mom worked with high schoolers. When I was in high school, she was in the USAID program and stuff like that. So that's the time they're starting to discover the traits of millennials. Na millennials hawashautiangwi. So ameshinda kishautia sister yangu, but mimi millennial, usinishautie mimi. So she really tried to have that friendly approach with me and like, let's talk about it. What is happening? So she was very, very gracious in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, that was 3 years.
It was 3 years.
Financially, what was the lowest point? And by lowest point, I mean, clearly, you weren't making any money, but like, what's the point where you're like, this? Because even with this production, it seems like you quit the production, but not the dream.
Yes.
So I'm asking, is there a point because of the finances or the lack thereof, you're like, this dream, by the way, it's not it?
Oh my God. Last year.
Yeah.
It's not
This is not even in the 3-year period. This is last year.
Let me tell you, I have never gotten to a point where I'm questioning if I should be doing what I'm doing.
Last year, when you're busy announcing next year is my 10th, next year is my this, next year
last year.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this thing? And then last year, my brand is popping. But I'm like, where's this money? And I'm like, and even when you try to, like, what is it called? You're still trying to convince people why they should pay you the way they should pay you. But at the time, you're the best in the game. Tunakuanga tumekuheshimu sana manze. Wewe unakuanga tu mnoma. Wewe yani wewe yokafi hakuna mtu anaweza. And then you're like, and then you see the more you're growing in the industry, the more responsibilities you have, right? And so you have a team. And so that means someone else has to get paid, that kind of thing. But also the thing that was happening is I had too many products. And so it was stretching me thin without me realizing. And so that's the time I had to be like, wait, hold up, what's going on? So things are moving and money is coming out because I have so many products. A lot of money is just going out and going out. But I didn't find a model that now was making sure that the same way money is going out, it's coming in.
Back.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we will get to how you get up get to this point you had last year. So you get through these 3 years of, as some people call school fees or whatever you're going to do. So this 3-year period of working.
Yeah.
Is that, what happens next?
So next, I think one of the first productions that I do, Jesus Christ Superstar by Nairobi Performing Arts Studio. And we are with Mugambi, Dana Seda, Kamze, Mwatela, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just star-studded, And me, I'm like, now this is the break. This is the one I've been waiting for. And for sure, I do my thing. And even in terms of the reviews, because as theater people, literally, that's what you're waiting for. You're like, what are the reviews saying? What are the reviews saying? And everyone is, just raving about, hey, who is this new girl? Who is da-da-da-da? So me, after Jesus Christ Superstar, I'm like, hey, I'm about to be really busy because look, have you seen the papers? Yeah. They're talking about me. And so in my head, this is my big break. And shortly after that, I go to the UK and I do not get a call.
What are you doing in the UK at this time?
So I got an opportunity to travel. Someone saw me in one of these productions that I was doing for free. And then they happened to be sat next to my mom. And then every time I was coming on stage, they're like, oh my goodness, who is this girl? Oh my gosh, she's so... My mom, guy, that's my daughter. That is my daughter. Well, you know what? I will introduce you to her to this and that. And so we have a conversation after, and then he goes like, you know what? I think you would do really well in the UK. Have you ever considered that? And I'm like, it's funny that you said that because my auntie actually, she lives there and and my auntie has always told me ever since I was young, she's like, hey, you do so well, loco. So it was an idea at the back of our minds. And then he says, you know what? If you'd like to come, please let me know. I would love to sponsor your trip to go to the UK. I said, But also, this is how black people were shipped. So we cannot just accept money like this. Kwanza my mom is like, ati ni nani huyu? Hapana, lakini lazima unachunga. So we do background checks and whatever. And legit, this guy was like, no, like you just come and then you see my aunties on the other side. So my mom is like, okay, so it can't be that.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. Okay. And so literally pays for my flights. And we have just finished uni. And I've always wanted to go to the UK. Are you crazy? I'm not going to say ati no. And then you see now the scarcity mentality of traveling. This is my first time traveling outside of Kenya. You have to maliza the visa. I was like, there's no way I'm about to go to the UK for 2 months. So I'm not even thinking, what I did. Visa inaisha lini? Hiyo ndio siku narudi. And then in my head, I'm thinking, I'll go get some jobs and then I come back, I get a visa and da. But then I go, I'm not going to an institution. I'm not going with an institution.
And who is this guy?
Did
he work in the theater space? Did he?
No. He is someone, one of those rich people.
Yeah.
Like extremely wealthy people. So this person literally has...
You are like a CSR project.
Literally. Okay. He's one of those people who is like, this one looks like they are going to do well in life. Let me sponsor them. To give you context, he literally was friends with Princess Diana. I am not even kidding. I literally saw that picture. I was like, and then when you're trying not to look like an African, you're like, oh, this is Princess Diana's. Yeah. So dope.
That's where he was at.
Yes.
Okay.
So he genuinely was just like, I think you're talented and I think you would do well there. And so I go to the UK and then again, he connects me with a theater called Omnibus Theater. It's just an internship. Again, I am not getting paid. And so my mom has to send me money. And then now I'm going for auditions. I know I don't have a visa to literally do the job.
Yes.
But I'm like, auditioning as itself is a skill and you just need to get that skill. Acting and auditioning are two very different things. You can be a very good person when it comes to auditioning, but a very shitty actor on set. And the other way around. So anyway, maybe we can whatever on that a little bit.
What are the skills needed for auditioning? Like, what do you need to be good at auditioning?
You need to ground yourself. You need to learn how to manage your nerves. Literally, that's what auditioning is about. It's how you manage your nerves in the moment. Because there's so much pressure when you're in front of a panel. And I'm glad that even the industry is, going away from the impress me, what have you come with? And now they're taking their time to, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? And as an auditioner as well, you want an actor in their most relaxed state. And so it is better for you if literally the first 10 minutes of the audition, we are just conversing. And so as an actor, what you need to do is, first of all, if you have lines, you have to get them down. There's no other way to go about it. Yeah, there's no shortcut. And then the thing is, remember that these people are human. You really need to put that up, because when you go in with the idea of, this guy is, I always say acting is relaxing. It literally is just relax. And everything else, of course, after you've done your lines and all of these things will come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
So you're auditioning all over the place.
So I'm auditioning all over the place. And now I'm learning, again, I have to be a good dancer because, so for instance, I would go for those Disney cruise auditions and you're told to prepare a song, monologue and a dance. To put it into context, you go with a sheet music, which now at the time, I have not encountered I can't even read a sheet music.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I hope this is it. So you go on the net, you Google, you give them. And at the time, we've been doing Lion King in Daystar. So my only song is the Lion King. But I knew that Lion King, no one can sing better than me. So I do the thing. But then now, a dance audition, you have 20 minutes to learn a routine. And to put it into context, these are people, because in the UK, arts is a very, vibrant thing. And ever since you're like 3 years old, 4 years old, you've started learning tap dance, ballet, jazz, all of those things. And so almost everyone is extremely good at dancing. My leg cannot even go past here. Guys are here stretching.
Right.
And then when you go to those audition rooms, people are dressed like Cinderella and like they've dressed up for the role. Now this is where I'm also discovering you have to dress up for the role. You go into a room and you see like 10 Cinderellas, all of them looking the same. So it gave me a little bit of an edge, but still at the same time, unaingia kwa room, guys are just on a split, just stretching there. I'm thinking, I can't even, like my leg is not, and I'm fit, almost. So now I have to learn ballet. So I tell my mom, okay, I found a studio in the UK and I was like, okay, so you have to pay £8 per class every week. She's like, girl, I've been supporting this dream for such a long time. I'm still supporting it. Yes, she agreed. But again, it's very taxing. And then you can imagine sending money from here to there is a whole other situation.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, I start doing the classes, what. I work at Omnibus for a month or like 3 months or something like that. And then I tell myself, just as I was about to finish Omnibus, I'm like, it would be foolish of me not to do a show. Like, I have a theater at my disposal. I can just convince them. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll call the show London Eye because of London Eye. And so it's London, Eye. My experiences in London. I'm like, let's do it. And Wandia has shown me that I can write a show from scratch.
For context,
yes.
Just give the Wandia story because we don't talk about it here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Dr. Wandia Njoya was my lecturer in Daystar University. And the last course that I did in uni was called African American and Caribbean Literature. And so she says, so she's seen me as an artist in school and she says, you know what? I don't want you to do an exam. Because you're an artist, I want you to create a piece out of this, whatever you have learned. And that's the first time I'm like, you mean education and entertainment can coexist and it's one thing? But that shows me, so I could actually write something or come up with something from scratch. And so we do the whole London Eye situation. I've met an old guitarist, a Polish guy, and he liked my voice. I think he saw me sing at one of the whatevers. And then he says, I think you have a good voice. And then I think he's one of those people who's been trying his career. So he's like, hey, maybe this is my way out. Let me just get this African girl. This exoticness, this one. And then I used to sing Vulindlela by Brenda Fassie. So we start going through bars in London and it's like, people are excited, like, who's this girl? So I start making a little bit of money here and there because you take the basket around like an offertory and things like that.
Right. And
so now I have a band to even play for me for my show. Because my guy tells me, in fact, I have 2 older guys. We can put in there. I said, bring them. Let's do the thing. And then I'm doing Miriam Makeba and Vulindlela and whatever. And so guys are fascinated. So I do the show and then I come back and then now
what are the numbers for the show?
Oh my good Lord. I think maybe 10 people, including my cousin, and 3 people who work at the theater. And probably an old person who's always looking for a show at Omnibus to watch. And so literally there's practically no one there.
What is it like performing to such a small audience? And the reason I'm asking this is partly also from experience as we were building up to the Love and Money show. And actually, when this episode is dropping, we're going to do like a video that's going to talk about the Love and Money show and how we did it.
Right.
But there was a time when there was like, before people understood what we were doing, where it was like, guys. I remember.
Those claps, especially when you're in a big theater. It's loud.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so and I remember feeling very traumatized about I mean, I've done this with other podcasts and other events, but anyway, I'm curious. What is it like performing in front of such a small audience?
I think the good thing about it is that it was a small room as well. So it didn't feel like it was empty.
Yeah.
I have performed at Jane Bavan with literally 20 people. That theater is massive.
It's huge. It is so big. It is
20.
so big. It is so big.
And in fact,
huge.
It's on the night that I got my kalasha. So me, I'm rushing. I'm like, I
have a performance.
The clubs are just... You people, it's sad. I shan't lie. It is sad.
But the good thing about J Baban at least is because when the lights go dark, you can only see the guys
you hear the silence. The silence is too loud because when someone laughs, it's
as opposed to like the collective.
Because the collective laughter really does. But yeah, it's and it's just like you want to swallow. You're just like, my gosh. Why are we even?
How do you hold your nerve and perform in that setting?
The one thing, at least as a principle of acting, you always say, whether it's 2 people, whether it's 3 people,
for them.
You perform for them.
I told myself that line as well.
It didn't come
through. No. I'm so glad I didn't have to leave. The only experience I have of it is in my head because people did. I mean, it was successful. People didn't show up. But oh man, anyway,
it's loud.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So that's what that performance is like. So now back to I guess on the journey because we're talking about You've now gone to the UK, you've now come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've come back and now I'm trying to find my footing. And now I'm like, so I can apply for school. Now I've known the things I need to apply for school. So let me be here for a minute, like 2 months here, I'll apply and then I go back. Of course, again, the 2 months does not happen. I end up staying longer. And then now I'm starting to get gigs. So in fact, one of the first calls that I got when I came back was the Tinga Tinga. And this was a year later after Eric saw me in Jesus Christ Superstar. You see that call that I was waiting for immediately after Jesus?
It came a year later.
It came a year later. And he says, hey, Nyokabi, how are you? So we saw you and we like what you did and we'd like you to audition. I lost my mind. I said, Eric, you are the one, Eric. Daima. Let me come. So I go, my Lion King song that I've been doing in the UK. Let me unleash for you guys. Claudia, who was the director for the show, she was also now based in the UK and stuff like that. But she's in the audition room and she's like, oh my God, you have a beautiful voice, blah, blah, blah. To put it into context, Tinga Tinga has already happened. The first run has already happened. And Fee was the one who was playing that role. The great Fee, who has released Taboo. And everyone in the country is singing it. And then there's me. I am coming to reprise Fee's role. So for me, first of all, the pressure of just replacing Fee, excuse me, and then our voices are so different. I have that key alto, she has a soprano. So I'm like, I don't even know why you people are calling me for this audition, but hey, I'm gonna do it. At the same time, I get a call from Amar, who does like really dope productions from Aperture Productions. And we're auditioning for Cinderella. And I'm like, this is a nice role, it's a sweet role. So roles are just coming. All of a sudden, I am just getting calls. And I auditioned for Cinderella. I get a call back. But before the call back, I see a message. I am at my grandmother's place, just chilling. And I see a message from Eric Wairena saying, hi, Nyokabi, we really like your audition. And the role is yours if you would like. First of all, I was like, Eric, wait, if you would like. What do you mean if you would like it? Me, I'm a 22, 23-year-old just trying to figure it out. And then he says, the compensation is 250,000 for the Kenyan run. But I also get a per diem of 1,500. And then for the US run, so there's Broadway there. And I've been writing a hashtag on my name is Broadway, here I come. Because I watched a show called Smash and there was a song called Broadway, here I come. And I started just saying that. And he's saying another 250K to go to the US. I'm thinking, does that include my transport? Are you paying my transport?
To go and
Transport yangu inatoka wapi?
Yeah.
And I'm still giving you $50 for per diem when you are in the US. You know, from earning, the biggest check I had gotten at this point was 40,000 shillings for like a 3 months job that I've done. So I'm looking at this message like, I'm sorry. Am I crazy? Is this, no. I start screaming. I call my mom. I'm like, she's like, wait, what? And I think that's when it clicked for my mom that this is a thing. She could not believe it. And because she had invested so much, I remember we met one of my teachers just before we went to Broadway. And then my teacher is asking me, what are you doing nowadays? I'm like, yeah, I'm an artist. My mom is like, you are not saying this the way it should be said. You. Unajua now that looks like you are msanii. Actually, she's going to Broadway. She's with Eric Wainaina. You know Eric Wainaina? Yeah. So they are going with Atemi and it was a star-studded cast. And then, I mean, you have Alvin, you have Tetu Shani, you have like literally people who their experiences are literally like 7 years and above. What am I talking about? 15 years and above. And so I do this experience and it's literally my dream. You're not worrying about money. Like those people made sure you will be in rehearsal Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Because I am compensating you enough to afford you, at least for me at the time. And I remember I literally used to get to KNT by 7. I ran, because again, it's a musical. You're singing, you're acting, you're dancing. You have to be fit. I ran through Ukonini. The first thing we're doing is dance sessions with Coach Edu. And then after that, we're having singing sessions with Eric. And then after that, and then the last, just before I got Tinga Tinga, I was doing Too Early for Birds Brazen. And the last week of Brazen was the first week of Tinga Tinga. And so I used to come from Brazen like 4 up until like 10, 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. I go home, I'm at Tinga Tinga 8 a.m. up until 4 p.m. And then repeat for the whole week. And the last day was tech rehearsal. And so I was in Brazen from 4 till until like 3 a.m. I woke up again at 8 a.m. and when I tell you that show, the opening show, I had a blackout on stage.
For Tinga Tinga?
No, for Brazen.
For Brazen. Complete.
You know when they do in the movies and there's just a spotlights. And at the time, there was a wardrobe malfunction. Everything that could have gone wrong.
Went wrong.
You know, I am there doing a dance, thing. There I just hear, there's kaupepo. There's a kaupepo somewhere. What is this upepo? What is going on? Where? Kumbe half of my booby.
Yeah.
He's just there saying hello. And this is not the theater that has 20 people.
Yeah,
it is sold
full.
out. And I remember literally going like, it was in between my choreo. And I remember my brain was shutting down because the whole week I was just at it. And yeah, anyway, so do Tinga Tinga. It's amazing. The rehearsal process is intense, but I'm like, this is what theater is supposed to be. We're supposed to be training. We're supposed to be what? And it's a proper professional production. We finished the KNT run for a month, and it's literally, they literally gave us the whole Broadway experience.
Tell me, how does, so when there are asked 2 questions there.
Yeah.
One is based on how, okay, so there's how long is the rehearsal process?
Yeah.
And then, so how many weeks are you in rehearsal? And then what's the show like? What does the show run like? That's the second part of the question. The first part is I want to ask you is the physical taxing element of being a performing artist on theater. Like what's on a stage, not on theater, on stage. And what do people not really understand about what it takes to perform on stage regularly and well?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example of right now as I'm training for Index 1. Dance is part of it. I started my dance training, I think we're in June, in Jan.
In January.
Yes. So weekly, because one thing about this career, you can't hide. It's not math that you can go and chat GPT and then it always shows. And I think one of the hardest things that I had to go through in school is constantly showing up for something that you know very well. Even by the end of this program, I'll still not be as good. Because it takes at least 6 months for your leg to just move from here to here. Your flexibility is just, and so the result only comes if you're doing it Monday to Friday for at least 6 months or God knows what. And so it's about the consistency and the compounded effort. The thing about theater is you can't fake it. If you don't know, you don't know. You can't chemsha supu your lines and then you just get lines. It has to be a progressive effort. It has to be compounded and you have to keep showing up. Yeah. And so for Tinga Tinga, that's exactly what I had to do. And again, the vocal ability. And you see, the thing is, these are 3 skills. And you're being put on a stage and you don't want to look bad. I mean, kwanza umekuwa hapo, let me tell you, kwanza I remember sound check. Atemi just comes, yeah. Tetu anakuja, yeah. Candy, yeah. And then you go, aririri, aririri, aririri. I'm telling you, Tinga Tinga was that show. You wake up and you tell yourself, you're beautiful, you're smart, and you got this. Because you had to put in the work. You really just had to. So, first part of the question, I hope I've answered it.
Yeah.
What is the second part of the question?
The second part was around what was the show? So how long were you in rehearsals for? And then what is the show running like? Like for the audience, how many shows are you guys putting up?
Right.
Yeah.
So we rehearsed for 6 weeks. And then I think we had shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Wednesday, 1 show, Thursday, 1 show. Friday, I don't know, I think it was 2 shows, and then Saturday 2 shows, and then Sunday 2 shows. And at some point, because me, I was like, I had already started researching Broadway. I'm like, we are in the this is how they do. So we are getting the experience. Hey, but by week 2, you are like, hey, my guys, this is a lot. It's a lot.
Wait, you do this for how many weeks?
4 weeks.
You do this for 4 weeks?
4 weeks. And this is one of the first few times, I think apart from Eric's Smallfire, I don't think a show has run for more than 1 week or 2 weeks at KNT, or even a weekend, really. So this is the first time even people are just experiencing having a show for a month at KNT. And let me tell you, by week 2, you are like, backstage is a whole just napping situation. Like now the task is keeping it fresh. You're like, I am bored with this song. I have been hearing it for the past 6 weeks, number 1. And now the first weekend, everyone is like, guys, 1, 2, 3, Tinga, Tinga. And everyone is like, let's do this. Hey, week 3, you're like, yeah, that song is, we should, yeah. So it's boring, really, for the lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And so now your task as a performer is to keep it fresh. How do you have to be present. Now the task is being present in the moment.
Yeah.
Because now it's muscle memory. You can literally do it in your sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the audience? How many people are coming to the show? Is it all packed?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Now this again is one of those times. There is like 15 people over there. Some are your marketing department and some are your whatever. But again, you've signed the contract, you are a performer, you have to give people the experience. So you'd find weekend shows are full and they're but the weekday shows are just like, did almost no one. It's an echo. Yeah.
Okay. That's grueling.
Yeah.
Okay. So you finish this part. And then, I mean, now when you look back, like if someone was to pay you to do that kind of performance, how much would they need to pay? How much would you be worth?
Sasa kama Erika nilipa $500,000 shillings.
Yeah.
This was 2018. Honestly,
or someone at your caliber,
I would say nothing less than $1 million.
Nothing less than $1 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that is, would I get it is the question. I don't know. Even in the UK or even in whatever. But in terms, if you are to quantify the work that you do from the research to the rehearsal process to the fact that if I commit to this, there's nothing else I'm doing, then all of that, I would say nothing less than $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go to Broadway.
Yes.
What's that experience like?
Oh, Broadway. I'm like, Broadway, I'm here because I post a photo in front of the theater. I'm like, I can't believe we are here. Mm-hmm. Now, on Broadway, it's systems. You have someone who's doing your laundry. You have a green room. You check in and you sign in at like 8 a.m. and by a certain time, you're not supposed to go beyond a certain time. Hakuna hizi ma lateness za sijui. Nah. You have 1 hour to the show. You must be ready by like 9. If the show starts at 6, by 5:45, you have to be ready. We have to do our warm-ups. You have to be in places. Like, there was such structure that was so fascinating that there was no mix-up of sasa wewe mbona nilikuambia ufanye and this kind of things. It's even the laundry person, you have to respect their job enough to have your laundry there ready on time. Yeah. If it's not there, you don't get laundry. And you see, if you're doing shows, you are sweating. So you want your laundry to be done. Yeah. But sometimes you have that thing where, no, you see, I was delayed. You be delayed.
But
you delay. But just know the next day you are going to be smelling yourself for the next 2 hours and whatever. And you see, they would do the laundry, I think, once after every day or like every other day. Yeah. And so now you'd have to, if you miss out on this, it means two days.
Shows, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But what was the attendance like for that one? Is it the same structure, Wednesday to Sunday?
Yes, I think it was the same structure, but maybe one show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I think 2 shows Saturday and Sunday. Drew Barrymore came for the show. I can't remember, there was like a Hollywood actor or whatever, and you see at the time we're like, guy, you better Drew Barrymore, what a minimum gosh. And then you think you're gonna be picked up from the nini, you think agents are going to locate you. And you know, when you've tasted the dream, you've just touched it, and
right.
Having people from a different country receive you as a performer is such a beautiful feeling, like a very different, because here you can say, I want to say to, wanani support and that kind of thing, but having people from a different culture. And then I think the other switch for that was cultural, what do you call it? There's certain things that we would say in the show that now in an American context, it can be taken out of context, can be termed as racist and things like that. And so we also had to adjust a few things in the show just because of whatever was also happening in America at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like a good experience nonetheless.
It was. But at the end of the 2 weeks, I was ready to come back home.
Yeah.
I think, now you've seen New York and you're like, it's the city of dreams. And I kid you not, we go there. First of all, the air for me was it. Like the air that greets you.
Yeah.
You're thinking, what is this damp site of a place? Where is our glamorous New York and that kind of thing? The trains are so loud. People are so abrasive, even in terms of how, New York is a very fast-paced place, but it was a bit much. It was a bit, and they're very, I think abrasive is the word, as a people, even when you don't get your thing on time or whatever, or you've had a mistake, it's very confrontational as opposed to, okay, you did a mistake and that kind of thing. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you come back, finish with your $500,000 experience.
Yes.
You invest that money immediately
in an Uber. My mom says, wewe usiwende kukula pesa wewe. My dad deals in cars, right? And so there's this person who needs money urgently. My mom happens to just be in the office when this conversation is happening. She's like, uko na pesa? Leta hiyo pesa sahi. Me at this point, I'm thinking, I don't even know how to drive. I don't know any. My mom is like, please. But I also think this is a good idea. And so I invest my money in an Uber. And I hire someone to do the Uber because at the time, because my mom is like, see, you drive it. Me, I hated. Driving in Nakuru and Nairobi are two very different things. So I was very scared, even just to drive in Nairobi. But also at the time, I'm thinking, Kai, sasa nitakuanga na drive watu, sasa nikipatana na watu. Huyu star wa Broadway and I drive Uber. And there was like that kind of shame. So I get someone to do the Uber, and literally for I think the next 4 or 5 months, I do not get a job. Because now people are like, watu wa Broadway? Sidhani tunaweza wa afford. You people are very expensive. And so now I'm getting $12,000 every week from my Uber. So at least I'm okay, but also there's times the dereva like si unajua sasa haki nini sijui imefanya ikafanya, and then there's always maintenance issues. So now I'm getting 5k 4k. Now I'm frustrated. I'm like, my nigga, do you know that's the only 4k I have? Like I have no other money.
Yeah.
But it literally is the thing that sustains me now until I get my Empress.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my Empress has comes from Phillit
yes.
TV. Right?
And this has come from Brazen, which I did again the previous year. Yes.
Okay.
So Queen Gadhoni, producer for Too Early for Birds, recommends me for my Empress. And this is my very first TV show. Again, Kate actress, Naomi Nganga. I think in my career, I've always been thrown in with legends and icons, for lack of a better word. I was the only cast member literally below 30 even. And so I do my audition, and the story about this audition, I really love telling it because first I have watched a video of how when you go into the audition room, you have to take charge. So I'm there going through and okay, this is how, okay, let me now go for this audition. And I walk into the audition room and they say hi to me. And they're like, okay, great. And I'm like, can I please get that chair? And then can I please have because the character was smoking. So I said, okay, can I use a cigarette and whatever? And literally it's like I'm directing them.
Yeah.
And it's like
to set you up for your audition.
Yeah. And they're all looking at me like, girl, are you bossing us around? What is wrong with you? And Queen Gadhoni tells me afterwards, she's like, the moment you asked for that chair, that's when you got that role. And I was like, really? So I should ask for chairs when I go into audition rooms. But yes, anyway, I get into Phillit. I get into my Empress. Again, a wonderful experience. I'm being told I'm paid 125k per month. I'm saying, wow, life is good. Now we have come back.
Yeah.
And then at the time,
what is it like when you're being paid for for TV?
Yeah.
Because is it in perpetuity? Is it as long as the show is running?
Right.
Yeah.
So ideally, it should be. You should be able to receive royalties and things like that, at least in the American system and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes. But then here, you're literally paid a monthly salary. Or if it's not a long running show, for instance, if you're just shooting for like 2 months and whatever, you're just given a package and you're told this is how much we have, that kind of thing. But ideally, I'll say personally, I've literally received royalties from Kinafil. And so the whole system that they've built of eliminating the middleman and having their website and having people pay directly to that, I have personally been a beneficiary of the royalties. Because I remember when now we did Grand Little Lie a few years later, but like, oh, we don't have money, and you're a producer, you don't know my stories, I'm not do. And they give us like a, honorarium kind of thing. And at the time I was thinking, you people have given me my first TV show, surely the least I could do is the nene. But like the year following it, I get a check. The year after that, I still get a check. And I'm like, and I've been very vocal on actors getting royalties and things like that. So it's such a good feeling to also just benefit from that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But without the innovation, so essentially you would be told. So so do you send like a year-long contract?
Yes. So sometimes, for instance, like Selena.
This is my Empress. Yeah. Oh,
so Selena, I signed for 6 months. But now people like Ina Pascal who are in the show for long, they'd sign like a yearly contract and then it's renewed every year.
So you just paid monthly like every other.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this My Empress was essentially a year-long contract. You're being paid 125k per month.
It was literally like 4 months actually.
Okay. So it's a 4-month contract.
Yeah.
At 125
at
per
125.
Okay.
And me at this point, I'm thinking, hey, I've not earned, this is great, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, let's go. But then I have applied for school. So when we come back from Tinga Tinga, the year before that, I had tried applying for school to ArtsEd and Mount View, which are in the UK for musical theatre.
This is for a master's program.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when I applied for it, I got rejected at ArtsEd. And then Mount View were like, we really liked your audition, but we'd love to take you in for acting. But me, I'm like, I've discovered this musical theatre world. I need to be good at singing, acting, and dancing. So I tell them, you know what? I'm going to try it the next year. And they're like, okay, cool. So I remember literally having this conversation with Claudia, the director for Tinga, in New York on the subway. And she's like, have you ever tried school? And she says, there's this school next to where I live called Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. I think you should apply for it. And I'll even help you because the auditioning process is very grueling for drama schools. And the thing about auditioning for drama schools is you want to audition for as many as you can because your chances of getting into even one are very slim. So you want to at least get 5 schools so that you can increase your chances. And so remember me, I've applied the previous year. So I'm like, girl, been there, done that. They didn't like my audition, but you know what? I said I'm going to apply this year, so I'm going to try it again.
Yeah.
And I tell myself, I'll apply to Royal. If I don't get in, so I said I'm going to apply to one school. If I don't get in, it's aside. I do my application. At this point, I've auditioned for my Empress. I'm still waiting for feedback. And then my Empress say, oh, we are going to have you for the role and blah, blah, blah. So I'm excited. And then I think a month after I've accepted the role and 2 months before shooting, I get the letter from Royal Central School saying, you've been accepted. And school starts in September. And I finish, at the time, my Empress had said we're going to finish shooting in August or July. So I'm like, perfect timing. So in fact, I tell Phil those ones for professional courtesy because I know productions can run longer. So I'm like, oh, by the way, just so you guys know, I've been accepted to school. So in August, so just make sure my scenes are wrapped up by August. And then Phil goes like, Aki, we really wanted to have you. But I'm thinking, what do you mean you really wanted to have me? It's like, you know, when a character drops out of a show, then the ratings go lower. So I don't think we can. But you know what? We're getting into a writer's room. I'll call you. I'm like, no. I don't even have money to go to school, by the way. But one thing I've always believed ever since I was, and I even got a scholarship today. I think, I'm a scholarship. So I never believed that money should be the thing that is stopping you from
doing something.
Yes.
Kenneth Mbaye sat there and said the same thing. He's CEO of Centum Real Estate, and he says you separate the opportunity from the financing. Those are two separate things.
Two
if
very
the opportunity
different
is
things.
good, you can find financing.
Exactly. And Eric also told me that when I was applying to school, and I was like, Eric, I don't have money. He's like, don't worry about the money. The money will always come. And so I've done my whole thing, and I'm telling my mom. So my mom is pissed when I tell her about what Phil has said. So, sasa mbona hata uliwaambia? Ni kwa nini uliwaambia? Sasa ona hata tujui kama tuko na pesa. I'm like, but mom, if I'm a producer, I'd want an actor to tell me this. Yeah. She's like, vitu zingine usemangi. Unaacha tu zinini. I'm like, mom, stop it. And then everyone around me is like, why would you let go of your career has just started.
It's just started again.
And you've gone into, this is a big show and you don't know if you're going to go to school. Why would you leave? So everyone I was asking was leaning towards choose my Empress. But me, I'm like, I have been waiting for this thing for 2 years. I can't. I knew I wanted to go to school. And so Phil, after 2 days, and in fact, that letter in Index 1 that I wrote to my 30-year-old self, I wrote it after I had when Phil and I had just had this conversation. And so in the letter, I'm just reflecting on why is it that two very brilliant opportunities can clash like this? Like, where are my chakras and whatever? And, Phil calls me back and he says, okay, so we had a discussion and yeah, we're going to have you. I'm thinking, come on, Phil, dramatic effect. I am like, oh my God, thank you so much. And so this now helps me to save up for the costs that I am yet to encounter for school.
Wait, so the discussion they were having was whether they were going to have you on the show at all?
Yes.
Or whether they're going to cut your character?
Yes. Not cut my character.
Or cut you out and have someone else play your character?
Replace me completely.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I was just there like, Aki you people. And then now when he told me, I was like, Aki Phil, Aki Star disappoint. Aki nakwambia Aki you guys, I'll just that kind of thing. And so now this is the money that now helps me to sort of handle these applications and whatever, those kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you eventually get the financing for the school after that?
Let me tell you one thing about my mother. She's a miracle worker. What she is, she will find the money. And you see, I think also for her, it's the journey that I've taken. It was just like, there's no way we'll find it. And so I think, honestly, she literally changas from her peoples and whatever, and she's like, we're gonna get this money. And also, luckily at the time, she had a really, really good job. So she's like, okay, can we pay in installments? And then now I'm looking for scholarships in school. So I apply for, I apply for something called a minor scholarship in school. But then I get a letter from the school telling me, you have been nominated for a major scholarship. So what that means is, number one, you can't apply for a major scholarship. You only get nominated based off of merit and whatever. And they were going to pay half of my school fees. I'm like, child of Africa, you better help that child of Africa. So I'm like, I'm calling my mom and I'm telling her I have gotten this scholarship. And so you see, even her, she's like, enyewe hata wewe umejikaza siwezi shindwa with this one. So now me, I'm like, now usijali, I'll handle visa, I'll handle my flight, whatever. She's like, great. So now that's how I get the other half.
And so you land in the UK.
I land in the UK. I'm like, land of opportunity. I'm here.
Yeah.
And you see, now this is my second time, so I'm feeling like
I know things.
I'm more at home. I'm like, I know things here and there. And then now, as we were having this discussion before, so I need to buy a laptop, right? And I have gone with like £900. This is going to be my pocket money for the time being. And I've even lied at the visa because they ask you how much money you've come with. And I'm not about to say £900 because they are going to chase me away. How are you surviving in this country? And so I'm meant to buy the laptop. I go with my £900. I get there. I find out, no, it's more. So I'm asking them, okay, can I pay with my Kenyan card? And then I give you cash. They're like, nah. We don't do that business here. So I say, okay, I'm just going to pay with my Kenyan card. So now my Kenyan card, I've technically just wiped it off. Yes, there's a little bit of money, but not so much. So I put my money in the bag. I go to school because that day I didn't even have, what is it called? Lessons in the morning.
Yeah.
I go to school. I'm excited. I have my new laptop. I go back home. 2 days pass and I remember, let me leave this money because I still haven't gotten a bank account. Let me leave it here. When I register with the bank account, I'm going to do the thing. And I start looking for it. And I look for the money. And I look for that bahasha, like, have you ever retraced your steps? Like, am I crazy? I'm doing this with my nini. My cousin is like, are you okay? Is everything all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. When your eyeballs are just dilated, you're like, oh my God, what is happening? At this point, my auntie has paid, so they have bus cards there. And so she's paid for like a whole month, so that now I'm just settling in, and it's like £80. And so now even my bus card is not there. Now I'm thinking, what conversation do I have? Because she gonna flip out.
Yeah.
So I go and tell her, I've lost my bag. Now you should be very careful. I'm looking at her like, girl,
you don't know what I've lost.
You don't know what I have lost. Right now, this is a very small price to pay.
Yeah.
I go to school. I remember that day we were having like a singing presentation. Have you ever just watched people like this? In despair.
You're thinking about your £900.
You're just thinking about your £900. You're like, 900. I go to my teacher afterwards. I'm like, hi, can you ask the school? Can we send like an email of... And he's like, yeah, well, that's a little bit naive, isn't it? I don't think you're going to find... But what I can help you with is a job. I said, well, that's not what I was looking for, but I guess I'm going to find myself a job. So there's a theater opposite our school. I go do my CV very fast. I'm like, yo, if you guys need someone, please call me. Now I need money. Because now we are being told you need headshots, you need the basics. It's costing 250 to close to £400. I'm like, now I need money. I call my sister. At the time, she's working as a bank teller or whatever. So she's probably earning like 40K. I'm like, girl, I need money. She's like, girl, I ain't got money. I'm like, I know, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But when I tell you, I don't even know what that chick did. Me, I don't know what bank she robbed or whatever. So she would send me 20K per week because now... and
20K Kenya shillings.
Yes. And you see now that converted is like how much? You barely, it's just for getting around. Exactly, £100. Yeah. And so I apply for the job. A month later is when I get the job.
So for that month, essentially, it's surviving on this £100.
Correct.
Right.
Now, I'm still looking for it. Every day, I'm just now looking for a job, blah, blah. And then, so they call me for the interview. I make it and they're like, great, you're part of it. I'm working as a front of house staff member at the theater. So me, I'm like, when are the shifts being taken? Like, I'm ready to start those shifts. I start on the shifts. I work for my first week. I'm like, okay, where are we invoicing? Because now they would pay us per week. I'm like, okay, sasa invoice iko wapi? Because niko na madeni za kulipa za sister yangu. And they're like, oh my goodness, do you not have an NIS number? Oh my, you guys, now what are these things? Now who told me? So I have to wait for another 2 weeks to get like an NIS number, blah, blah. Hey, when that money started coming in, I'm earning at least like 139 pounds a week. And that's on the higher side. When I have less shifts, it's like 120 thereabouts. And now I have to cut half of it now to start paying back my sister. And I'm just now paying back. Like December, I think, is when I was like, I have
earning now money for yourself.
Exactly. And now February, COVID hits. COVID hits. And so I work in a place where I work in a theater. We need people in the theater. There is no people. But now the UK government says, if you had a job, we're going to be paying you half of your salary. I said, Jesus. You know one thing about you? You look after me. The prayers of Mama Nyokabi, they get there. So I'm earning just sitting in the house.
Sitting at home.
Me, I'm just sitting in the house, just getting my
salary.
every week. And so that literally, and now I end up doing a show before I don't know what is this thing about before I leave the UK or whatever. So I've saved up enough money to even do a show before I leave the UK because I'm like, how can we not?
Yeah.
And so, and at the time I also sell my car. Because now it's no longer making me money. Now I'm just paying for expenses and whatever. And so also I use some of that money to sort of sponsor the show. Yeah.
So get the show done.
I get the show done. I make like a loss of 200K. Let me tell you.
Of 200K.
Of 200K. Me, financial losses, I'm like, where is it? And then so I've gotten people who are doing streaming. They're one of the first people to do this thing. I make my losses, but then I've come back. I've been saving up my money from my salary and all of that. So I'm technically okay financially.
Yeah.
I come back and I'm just coming back for 3 months in my head, right?
Yeah.
For a holiday and whatever. Within the first month, Mugambi calls me for a job. I'm like, yes, please. In fact, now I'll have money to go back. Before I know it. And then I emailed almost all casting directors that I knew. I'm like, hi, I'm in the country. Just wanted you to know. I'd love to audition for roles if you have. Nimeingia Selena. Nimeingia Country Queen. It's on Netflix. I'm everywhere. And jobs are just coming from left, right, center. And I think it was that nini for, ametoka UK. Wacha sasa tuone. Ni nini hii ya UK? And so at this point, I'm earning. If there's a year I earned, it was in 2021.
At your peak, what would you say? What were you averaging per month?
Oh my God.
Do you think?
I think it was like 400K thereabouts because I'm going from different sets, right? And uku wananipatia, and then at the time I wasn't even choosing. It was just, and remember the only TV show I had done was My Empress. So I was still a little bit green on set and being a technical actor and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to get that experience of being a screen actor.
Yeah.
Because as a stage actor, I had honed my skills.
Yeah.
So I'm earning my money. Me, like I'm just, and then I'm not doing I'm saving up. The thing about me is that I wasn't good at investing, or at least I don't have that investor mind.
So you're saving all your money.
Me, I just need to see I have money in the bank.
Yeah.
If I have money in the bank, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Now 2022, I've gotten roles, yes, but now the roles start punguaing. But I'm like, I have money. I've been saving up. So I'm good.
You're okay.
But zimepungua. I'm still using up my savings. So I'm like, I need to do something. And then now at this point, I think at the time I'm like, I've gotten to a point where I'm called for audition. So I'm thinking, if you're not calling me for an audition, you really probably do not want me for that role. And so I'm not even actively seeking out opportunities and things like that. I get my kalasha. You would assume that now... That's the thing. There's something we call in the industry called the Kalasha curse. Where when you get a Kalasha, for some reason, you are nowhere.
After that.
It's so crazy. Like, because in the US is that when you get an Oscar, now your bankability is just but like, it's like your opportunities just disappear. And I remember Charles Ouda, the late, kept telling me, and Mugambi, they were like, hey, you know, a kalasha is not. I said, let me say it's not important when it's in my house. I want it in my house. And they kept telling me this. I was like, you people don't know. You don't know. But then now I start experiencing the Kalasha curse. And then I used to MC in Daystar. Now at this point, I'm like, well, Sasa, it's time to think of other options. I used to MC in Daystar. Also at this point, I'm still having, I own a production company called Shots from Africa with Nice Givinji. And we started this when I was in the UK. We did like an online thing, and we were like, oh, let's make it a thing. So I'm earning money. But you see now, the thing about productions is that money is going out of your pocket and you are lucky if it comes back. That's the thing about production. And so I tell myself, okay, maybe I can MC, right? But it's not something I like doing, but I could do it. So a friend of mine goes like, oh yeah, I'm looking for an MC. I'm like, okay, sawa. He's like, okay, we only have 10K. I'm like, it's fine. At this point, I really do not care. So I start emceeing, and then now it's picking up and people really, really love what I'm bringing to the table. I'm like, okay, now for me to earn more money, you need to close that intellectual gap for you to now price yourself at a certain, place. And so now I'm calling June Gashui. I'm like, okay, so what do you do? What are the things I need to think about as an MC? She's even like the questions she told me I should ask a client on the first meeting are still questions I ask clients up until today. Higher. Kidogo now with time, later on, Georgie Dirango starts his masterclasses. So I buy it online. And now it's like, it became even up until now, it's my main source of income. And now what that did is it made me realize I don't have to be on your set if I don't want to be on your set. Because you want me to come to your set Monday to Saturday, 6:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then you are paying me, like, I better be putting down a mortgage after that. So I started now realizing financial freedom, or like my time is very important. By the time I am committing to being on a set, the money has got to make sense, or that project has to make me really happy as a person. And so what hosting did for me was set me free from jobs that I didn't prefer doing. And now it became so bad. Let me tell you, was it last year but one? I've never refused so many jobs like I did. So I said you're
purely based on price point.
Yeah.
You just said, like, I'm not doing
this. I can't. And then you see a lot of them were, it had gotten to a point where I've worked with people that I admire. I have done the projects. I have been on the shows that I wanted to be on. So by the time I'm really coming onto your show, it needs to, I don't know, a role that will bring me out in like a very different way. But also I'm realizing I can make the money I get in a day MCing is what you pay me in a month.
Yeah.
Sasa kiburi ikakua. Sasa kichwa imemea. I'm like, where's unajua mimi nachajingi watu pesa ngapi wewe? Unajua nachajingi pesa ngapi wewe? And so now it just became, this is the business. And then I'll just do the things that I like with my company.
Yeah. Is that at the point where you said, because earlier you talked about last year getting to a point where you said you were like, is this it? Is this?
Exactly. So now it gets to a point where the gigs now are not coming as much as they were, like hosting gigs. And I'm still not doing the thing that makes me happy. So I'm broke and depressed at the same damn time, And the thing about chasing away money, if you chase away money, but then it will go.
Yeah.
If you do shash to money, it will go. And I think now, last year at some point, because the previous year
you had turned down so many gigs.
I turned down so much money. Even my mom is like, girl, what do you mean? I'm like, no. Let me tell you, mom. In this career, you have to, you need to show people how to treat you and blah, blah, blah. And I think also it's coming from the trauma of, how people price you and how, because our career is so personal. And so by the time I'm showing up on your set, you're not treating me well. You're not paying me enough. You're not like, kaeni na hiyo pesa yenyu. And so I think now it got to a point, it's like, well, okay, maybe what I can do. So umesema uko na how much? Uko na 50. So maybe kwa hiyo 50 sitakufanyia what. So now I started understanding that you don't have to necessarily turn down the money. You can give them a package that is
equivalent to the value they're paying for.
Exactly. And so that is also something that I am still learning at the moment. On the brighter side, what that did is that it set a precedence of, by the time I'm coming onto your set, anyway, you have to save up those coins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also now my lesson for that was, there are some things that are more valuable than money.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, as we're sort of wrapping up, what's the reality of you, who is a creative in Kenya, who not only has the talent, but you literally have the papers to back it. You have a master's in performing arts to back. You have the experience. You have like all of these things. You're putting up your own show.
Yeah.
What's the financial reality of someone in your shoes right now?
One, I'm literally just figuring out a business model at my 10-year place, and I think as crazy as it sounds, right now is when I'm switching from passion to profit. And so even as a producer, I have stopped, because my background is an actor. I have been feeling the need for, if you are coming to my production, I have to, supply certain things. And then I very quickly I realized I am not at that point. I need to grow with my company the way it's growing, because I want to pay you like Safaricom or whatever, I don't know, whichever company, but I can't afford that now. And so what are these other things that I can give you, but also still take care of you? And I remember when, so as we were booking the venue, doing budgets for Index One, me, I'm looking at this budget, I'm asking Phil, you people, how do you do this? Because there's no way I'm looking at a budget of 3.5 M, and still, if you give me, you won't tell me if you give me 1 million shillings, I still cannot produce this show. Why? He told me, what are your biggest expenses? I tell him, labor and venue. He's like, you have to change the venue. I'm like, okay, why? Okay. Now changing the venue costs me another, because there's cancellation fee and things like that. And then now what I'm realizing is planning is freedom. You save so much by just planning ahead and being very straightforward with people from the very beginning, which I'm still learning, because there's so much. As an actor, what is financing all of these things is my salary as an actor, and as a what. But coming to the realization that now you're a company, you also now need to figure out who are these other people that can get value from you, even if it's not money. And realizing that even 5,000 bob for a production, that's a lot of money. You many buy here food for like a day or something like that. So
okay. So what does this is my last question. What does success look like to you? Actually, a mini question. So do you have any other investments other than, because it seems like you have invested a hell of a lot in your craft and your ability. And many creatives do that. Like you are your greatest
investment
asset and greatest investment. So that's one question. Do you have invested in anything else? And the second one is, what does financial success look like for you? Because it almost feels like the story is just, the financial story is just about to start.
It's just about to start. So yes, I have invested in things like Bond Plus, fund. Last year I was in a money market, and it's the basic ones where I'm like, okay, and then I'm in like 2 chamas, and then a SACCO, and then that kind of thing. And sorry, what was the other question?
The other one was now in terms of your financial journey.
Yes. So one of the things I had to do this year, there's a friend of mine who's kind of like a financial advisor. And I just called, I was like, I'm not a spendthrift. So why am I broke? Why is it that I have this and this and this? And she's like, okay, let's do spreadsheets. How many products do you have? And this is now where I realized I have too many products that are not pumping in money. They're only pumping money out. And so I had to account for every cost, including packing, including airtime, including God knows what. And she's like, we need to look at all of your thingies. I'm like, okay. Then she's like, we're going to give you a salary. No matter how much you earn, we are going to give you a figure for a salary. 100K is your salary. Whatever you want to do with that one, that's on you. And so I'm telling her, yeah, but I can save up for a holiday. Where? You don't have money. What are you, which holiday are you going for?
Yeah.
And so now that's changed the whole, remember my whole, when we started this talk.
You said rent, food, and
travel.
Move around money, yeah.
And now she's like, we want to work to a point where you have a buffer of 6 months.
Yes.
That God forbid COVID hits now, you have 600K lying somewhere just as, you can survive on that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's like, you need to now plan for the future so that when that future comes. And so I've had to take life insurance kind of thing. First of all, I feel so adult saying that. I told my mom, she was like, Ati? I said, yeah. Can you imagine? And so now, because the person I was talking to was like, in 10 years' time, you have like 1.7 M just waiting for you and whatever it is that you want to do with it. And you're just saving 5K per month. And if I think about it, that 5K, I probably use it in very useless things.
Yeah.
And so I've had to think about my life in different aspects. So not only the financial bit of just paying rent, but also things like therapy. Because now I used to think therapy is so expensive. But now when I put down my spreadsheets, I'm like, actually, I can get this 3K here or whatever and that kind of thing. So I think now is when I'm starting to sort of figure out that you need to set your money in different places, in different portfolios. And then the other good thing is that I had saved money in pounds as well. So, and then opening a USD account, knowing that some clients you charge them with USD and, those kind of things. So that's where I'm at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I mean, it would be really good to have this conversation in like 5 years.
Listen.
And see what the base you're setting now and where that all lands.
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we are going to be having a different story. And I'm like, oh my God, Barack, please come to my ranch.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming on to Financially Incorrect. And thank you guys for watching this episode as usual. It's been Friday and we will see you guys next Friday on the next episode of Financially Incorrect.